This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Late night, and I'm lying wide awake. Your eyes give me chills in every way. Feels right, but it's driving me insane. Whoa. 'Cause I get shivers up down my spine, and I get fever inside my mind. Yeah, I've been trying to keep it all inside, but I can't breathe. When you're right here next to me, yeah, you make me wake. It's like you're taking all my air and my oxygen. You make me sick, but you're the best kind of medicine. I can't breathe.
Following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes, and yes. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Tuesday, April the 28th. Yes, April the 28th of 2026. No doubt about that, as we are doing our thing. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio in USA, Canada, UK.
Yep, that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. That's how we're hanging. That's how we're doing all of the stuff as things are going through the multiverse. No doubt about that. So, how are you? How have you been? No, like seriously, how have you been? How are things going for you? How has the last 24 hours in particular been for you? Maybe that's more of the alignment question that we should be asking. So let's start talking right away about a lot of the stuff that is going on inside of the multiverse, because that's what we do around here. Oh, hold on. Am I told that I'm supposed to do this? Okay, maybe I will at some point. Okay, so let's talk about this. Are you ready? Are you ready to go into the rig of Moreau in regards of everything that's going on? So here's how it goes. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's it. That's really what it is. We talk about all of the major stories that are going on, and some not so major. And we kind of go through that whole thing. And then we come back and we give you some level of what would we want to call this exactly? Some level of a main story. And then we get you the hell out of here and then go into hour number 2 and 3 at radiobig.fm. So our show is 3 hours. Hour 1 is on video. Hour 1 is on podcast. And everything else after that is extremely limited to just radio itself. That's it. That's it. That's the whole conundrum. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging is what we talk about and kind of go through the whole multiverse of things. And there you go. That is the whole street cred, if you want to do that. So if you're good with it, I'm good with it. We can talk a little bit about this. We can talk a little bit about that. We can get into the stuff of the multiverse and then move forward. So let's do a lot of that, because I feel like a lot of that might be a good thing to do, opposed to just kind of going, I'm not sure what the hell's going on. So here we go. I have my friend from Feature Story News kind of waiting, ready to go, wanting to talk, wanting to take a look into the things. So why don't we go ahead and bring them in right now, and let's go ahead and get into the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Brussels, I'm William Denslow. UK MPs will vote later on whether there should be a parliamentary sleaze inquiry into the Prime Minister over the appointment of Peter Mandelson as US Ambassador. Keir Starmer's urging Labour backbenchers to reject the motion to refer him to the Privileges Committee. The under-pressure leader denies opposition claims he misled the Commons about the way the former US Ambassador's appointment and vetting were handled. Former Labour Home Secretary Alan Johnson hopes MPs vote against an investigation, insisting the issues are already being looked into.
Do we need a third inquiry into the process around a process? There's 2 inquiries going on at the moment. Are we really a serious country? There's war in Ukraine. There's war in the Middle East. There's a host of problems, including cost of living. This is about devoting more time, more expense. This is going to take a long time. It's going to cost money. I just think the public have had enough.
Britain's King Charles has arrived in the US for a 4-day visit, which will include a state dinner at the White House and an address to Congress. The royal visit is seen as an opportunity to smooth over tense relations and bolster ties between the UK and US. Tony Wortman has more from Washington.
President Trump has often expressed admiration for the royal family, but in recent weeks has spoken disparagingly about the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer after Britain refused to join Trump's war with Iran. There were even reports last week that the Pentagon was looking into ways to punish the UK, including possibly withdrawing U.S. support for England's claims over the Falkland Islands. In an interview with the BBC, President Trump said the King's visit could absolutely help mend the relationship. It's the first time in nearly 20 years that a British monarch has visited the U.S., and comes amid heightened security concerns following this weekend's alleged assassination attempt against the president.
The suspect in the shooting at the White House Correspondents Dinner has been formally charged with attempting to assassinate US President Donald Trump. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt accused Democrats and the media of hateful rhetoric, which she said contributed to Saturday's attack. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt called Saturday's alleged gunman depraved, but said that political violence stemmed from the systematic demonisation of the president by Democrats and the media. 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen was arraigned Monday afternoon on 3 charges, including attempting to kill Donald Trump. Washington, D.C.'s Attorney General Jeanine Pirro said additional charges would be added.
And oil prices edged higher on Tuesday, while Asian stocks were mixed as the Bank of Japan held its key rate unchanged. Investors are weighing uncertainty over a potential de-escalation in the Iran conflict, which is keeping markets on edge. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. India's Defence Minister is attending the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting on Tuesday, as regional security concerns sharpen amid ongoing tensions in the Middle East. The gathering brings together key Eurasian powers, including Russia and China, at a time when differences within the bloc remain pronounced. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is likely to underline the need for accountability and zero tolerance, a message aimed squarely at Pakistan, which is also a member of the group. New Delhi could also flag concerns over regional connectivity projects that bypass sovereignty concern, a veiled reference to China's Belt and Road Initiative. While SCO members broadly agree on stability in Afghanistan and counter-terrorism operations, divergences persist on how to address these challenges and the role of state-backed actors. Analysts say India's position reflects an attempt to balance engagement with strategic caution within the China-led grouping.
The New Delhi-headquartered International Big Cat Alliance is reportedly working on a New Delhi declaration, which could become the first global agreement on big cat conservation. And a man accused of plotting a terror attack at a Taylor Swift concert in Austria is set to stand trial from today. The 21-year-old's alleged to have planned to target a venue in Vienna in August 2024. He faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. The main news again. UK MPs will vote later on whether there should be a parliamentary sleaze inquiry into the Prime Minister over the appointment of Peter Mandelson as US Ambassador. Britain's King Charles and Queen Camilla have arrived in the US for a 4-day visit, which will include a state dinner at the White House and an address to Congress. And the suspect in the shooting at the White House Correspondents Dinner has been formally charged with attempting to assassinate US President Donald Trump. And that's the latest feature story news. William Denslow reporting.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
On the way to work, we're here to make your commute feel less commutey.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home title locks put a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally,
Since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. Some risky business. It's not my business. It's definitely what it sounds like as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. I don't know why, but I started going to this little restaurant not too far from where I live, and they celebrate Taco Tuesday, which we'll just call that a celebration because there's nothing else you can do. And every time that I hear it's Stupid Tuesday, now I'm like, I need to go to that restaurant today. I need to go to that restaurant today because I'm that addicted to tacos. Yeah, I definitely have some problems, but we'll leave that for a conversation of another day. So, where do we want to start today? Because I will tell you, there is all kinds of weird stuff going on today. We can start off with the serious. We can start off with the not so serious. We can do whatever the hell we want because it's yours and my show. That is for sure. Okay, so let's do this. What we're going to do today is we're going to, of course, open it up to callinradio.com. That's number one. If you want to interact with the show, you do go there. It gives you a little prompt on the screen. It tells you on your side, video, audio, or text messaging are the opciones of things to do. And then we kind of go from there. I kind of feel that's simple enough. And then outside of that, well, we'll just do our thing and kind of cover everything. So let's do this. And move through some of the stuff because I think that is just the way to do it. So let's start off with this because as I always talk about,
controversy creates cash.
Let's talk about this. Trump is calling for ABC and its parent company Disney to fire Jimmy Kimmel after the late night host referred to Melania Trump as an expectant widow during his show 2 days before the White House Correspondents Dinner. In a post on Truth Social, the president said that Kimmel should be immediately fired, criticizing both the remark and a comedy bit, which Kimmel showed fake video depicting Melania and their son Barron appearing to sit in his studio audience. Trump said the clip was misleading and insisted they were not present and never to be. So there you go. Take a listen to this.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania. So beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
So there you go. That's the clip that caused some controversy. 8 seconds. I mean, sometimes 8 seconds is not the greatest thing, but it's one of those things that people talk about. There you go. That's a couple of things that are going on there. What else do we got? Let's see, because people are talking about this stuff, so maybe we should continue down this path, or do we not care that much of what's going on? Let's just do this one, because maybe we should. So Jimmy Kimmel defends his joke about Melania Trump. Jimmy Kimmel used his monologue last night to directly address President Trump and the First Lady Melania Trump, and both publicly demanded that ABC fire him over the joke that he made days before the White House Correspondents Dinner shooting. Kimmel reiterated that his glow like an expected widow line from April the 23rd was a light joke about the couple's age difference, not a call to violence. He emphasized that he has long spoken against gun violence and said that it's impossible for a comedy bit to have influenced the attempted attack at a dinner on April the 25th. Speaking to Melania, Kimmel said that he was genuinely sorry about the fear and trauma of the incident, adding that we should come together and be best. He then pointed out that the White House press secretary had also joked about shots fired ahead of the dinner, arguing that if his joke is being blamed, hers would logically fall under the same scrutiny. Kimmel's monologue revisited his April 23rd alternative correspondence dinner routine, where he roasted Trump and joked about Melania's demeanor in reference to Trump's past association with Jeffrey Epstein. Melania responded earlier in the day by accusing Kimmel of hateful and violent rhetoric and urging ABC to take action against him. Trump echoed her criticism on Truth Social, calling the joke shocking, again demanding that Kimmel be fired. So what do you think here? What do you think? Because, I mean, I can see the argument. Well, shit, I see it right there. But I can also see the argument for the secretary, or the press secretary. Caroline. So what do you think? What do you think? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of one of those weird things. So, of course, you get that. And so then George Clooney decides to step in. At the 51st Chaplin Award Gala in New York, George Clooney honored his contribution to cinema, addressed the ongoing controversy between the President Donald Trump and late-night host Jimmy Kimmel. Clooney arrived with Amal Clooney, who drew attention for her fuchsia off-the-shoulder dress while he wore a classic black tuxedo. I guess this was important to talk about during this news story. During his remarks, Clooney pushed back on Trump's renewed demand that ABC fire Kimmel over his joke that Melania Trump had the glow of an expected widow. The joke aired 2 days before the White House Correspondents Dinner, which was later disrupted by a shooting incident. Trump and Melania have publicly condemned Kimmel and called for his removal. Clooney argued that Kimmel's joke and even the White House press secretary remark about shots fired tonight were the example of humor is being taken out of context, noting that jokes are jokes. But he warned that the broader climate of rhetoric was become a little dangerous and increasingly extreme. He did add that when political figures label opponents as traitors, a charge of historical punishable by death, the discourse becomes too heated. Clooney urged that the tone on all sides can be toned down. So there you go. Clooney jumping in, talking about some stuff going on there. So there you go. That's some aspect of what is happening. So there you go. So what else is going on? Let's talk about some major news stories, because that's what I feel like we need to do about some stuff. So let's do that right now. President Trump has escalated his dispute with the BBC, now claiming that the broadcaster used artificial intelligence to alter his January 6th Capitol speech, an allegation the BBC firmly denies. In a new interview with 60 Minutes, Trump said that the BBC's Panorama documentary didn't just edit his remark, but use AIs to make it appear that he said things that he never said. According to Trump, they had my lips speaking words of hate, but it wasn't me. He currently is suing BBC for $10 billion over the documentary. The BBC pushed back immediately. A spokesperson said that the clip in question was not created using AI, and that the program simply used the excerpts from different parts of Trump's speech. The broadcaster has already acknowledged that its edit unintentionally created an impression of a continuous speech and apologized for the error, which contributed to a major internal crisis and leadership disputes. Let's see. Trump's lawsuit argues that the edit was false, defamatory, deceptive, disparaging, inflammatory, and malicious. The BBC is seeking to have the case dismissed, arguing that the Florida court lacks jurisdiction and that Trump has not stated a valid legal claim. So there you go. Let's talk about this real quick because, we just have to talk about it. If you take a clip, most of the times you can make it kind of reference however the hell you want it to. That's one thing. And if a reporter is reporting on it, or a news company is reporting on it, and you take a clip and you use it and you go, well, you made the clip look like X, Y, or Z. Well, more than likely you did. Let's just not lie about it, because if I tell you anything else, you know that I'm not telling you the truth. But here's the weird aspect of it. Unless I play the whole fucking thing, there's no way that you're going to know what kind of context that was in. That's why sometimes I do not like going to places that preach out of this particular book, because you can make anything sound like you want it to in whatever context you want it to be. I'm just saying. So it gets weird. It definitely gets weird around here.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying.
He is trying to be entertaining.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this because this gets interesting. NASA is preparing to intentionally light a fire on the moon as part of the first of its kind safety experiment ahead of the future lunar mission. The agency wants to understand now how flames behave in low gravity, because fire acts like differently on the moon than it does on Earth. In some cases, materials that don't burn easily here can burn longer and hotter in space. Later this year, NASA will send 4 fuel samples to a lunar surface aboard the Uncrewed Commercial Lunar Payload Services, CLPS mission. The samples will sit inside of a sealed chamber where they'll be ignited to be put on camera, and sensors to track the flame spread and how much oxygen it consumes. Scientists say the moon's gravity, only 1/6 of the Earth's, slows the normal airflow, and that would usually snuff out a weak flame. That means that small fires would actually burn more easily inside of a lunar habitats, which will be filled with oxygen, Earth-like pressures. Understanding that the risk is critical as NASA prepares for the Artemis Quattro in 2028. And let's see, the astronauts will return to the lunar surface. The experiment is designed to help engineers prevent and respond to potential fire emergencies on the moon, where even a small flame could become a major hazard. So think about that for a moment. So now we're talking about burning the moon when it's all said and done. I never understand why we get so weird about stuff. It's that is for sure.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this. A professional lip reader has offered the interpretation of the brief inaudible exchange between President Trump and King Charles III during the monarch's arrival at the White House yesterday. As the president and the First Lady Melania Trump welcomed King Charles and Queen Camilla on the South Lawn, cameras captured the greeting but not the audio. According to the Daily Mail reporting on lip reader Nicola Hickling's analysis, Trump referenced both Saturday's shootings at the White House Correspondents Dinners and concerning developments involving Russians Vladimir Putin. Let's see. Hickling said that Trump appeared to begin with this shooting, prompting King Charles to respond that he'd rather not stand about here, not stand about here too long, and that he felt that he shouldn't be here. Trump then asked if the king was all right, adding, "It's not a good thing." The lip reader also interpreted Trump as saying that he had been in contact with Putin, claiming that he wants war. King Charles reportedly tried to defer the topic, replying, "We will discuss that later and later." Another time, the exchange then shifted to a lighter subject, Trump's White House ballroom project. He gestured towards the area and asked the king if he wanted to see it, prompting a small laugh from Charles, who replied, "I'm sure you'll show us." So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. Let's talk about some other stuff. Cole Thomas Allen, the 31-year-old suspect arrested after the shooting in the White House Correspondents Dinner, has been formally charged with attempting to assassinate President Trump. Federal prosecutors also charged him with discharging a firearm during a violent crime and transporting a firearm and ammunition across state lines. Allen made his first court appearance on Monday, so there you go. There you go. A lot of stuff to talk about. That is what it seems like as we are going through the whole context of things. That is for sure. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things, because that is kind of what we do around here. We talk a little bit about this and a little bit about that. Okay, so take a listen to this one, because this one gets interesting. An 18-year-old Frenchman student in Singapore is facing serious legal trouble after filming himself licking a straw from an iJuice orange juice vending machines and putting it back. He posted the clip on Instagram with a caption, "City is not safe." The video spread quickly, sparked outrage, and was picked up by local media. He's now charged with public nuisances, up to 3 months in jail, and mischief up to 2 years plus a fine. The vending machine company replaced all 500 stalls, filed a police report, and did extra cleaning. The student who attends French Business School campus in Singapore is out on bail after his parents flew in. The case returns to court on May the 22nd. You know, I don't understand some of these fucking dumb stunts. Like, what did that accomplish for you? Like, some asshole here over the weekend decided to take a riding lawnmower and decided to drive into a Target store here in Florida. Now, I know that you think that you're being all cute by doing some of this stuff, but what are you accomplishing about this? Oh, yes, I had somebody say that they liked my video. Oh, that's so fucking important. I just don't understand it. And maybe it's because an age differential thing, but I will tell you, back in the days, you did some stupid shit like that. You don't know what's going to happen to you because people didn't really have some level of control as they do sometimes these days. But man, it gets weird. It gets weird. Like, what did you accomplish by doing this? You got to go to jail for a hot minute. Somebody got to bail you out, had to fly in to come and bail you out. Then now you have this dipshit all of a sudden driving a riding lawnmower, which you didn't really do very well if you can kind of find the video online, and you clipped the door. Then you kind of struck the door, and then all of a sudden you couldn't get in there right away. So it just makes it weird. It doesn't really accomplish anything. Like a few days ago, there was a video that was sent to me that this lady's so upset at Walmart, or should I say, was so pissed off at Walmart that she decided to pull her pants down. And this is not a joke as I say this. It decided to pee on the floor in front of everyone. This is not a joke. And so what happens? Cops come. And they arrest you for public indecency and public urination. I would love to say that I'm making this up, but the unfortunate portion, I'm not.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's continue talking. So take a listen to this because I want to talk about this. Beloved St. Louis journalist Ray Hartman, 73, was killed in a freak highway accident in Missouri after two tires broke loose from a tractor trailer, bounced off the median, and came crashing down through the roof of his car on Interstate 64. The impact was fatal. Hartman was a major figure in St. Louis media. Let's not talk too much about St. Louis media if you watch St. Louis DTF or DTF St. Louis on HBO Max, but we'll leave that for a different thing. Founder of the Riverfront Times and the St. Louis Magazine and nearly 40-year panelist on PBS Donnybrook. Colleagues described him as the cornerstone of local journalism in a sharp, witty voice and deeply loved. AAA officials called the incident rare but sobering reminder on how quickly dangers can unfold on the road. This story is one of those freaks accidents, one in a million tragedies that makes people think about the bizarre, unexpected ways that life can take a turn. So here's the question. What is the one way you absolutely do not want to go out? Not graphic, just irrational fears. The weird scenarios, the nope, not me ending people joke about, elevators, falling off a cruise trip, hit by a rogue vending machine. What's that one that gives you that ick when you think about it? Go to callinradio.com because I would love to hear more about it. That is for sure. Anyways, we are already past the mark, but let's go into it. Let's go ahead and get into that main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so it's main story time, and I really want to start having a better understanding about certain things in life because I will tell you, there is a lot of stuff about life that I do not get. I really don't. And I don't understand this jargon. I don't understand some terminology. I don't understand some of the things that we do out there as quote unquote
safety professionals
that we're supposed to be doing. So I will tell you, I have the great privilege, because it is a privilege, to speak to hundreds of companies, a month in regards to some of the things that are going on. And I mean that with the best possible way as I say that. And it's very interesting to me to take a listen to what goes on in certain companies. And I will tell you that I'm always amazed that every company that I speak to is entirely different than other companies based on what they tell me. No one else is like them. And they do stuff different than anybody else has ever done. And I need to hear more about what exactly they are doing that is different than anyone else. It's okay. It happens pretty frequently, but I get to hear this. But there is these terms that are used that I don't quite understand. And I hear terms like, we have world-class safety. We are, at what we do, we are best in the category. I also get to hear terms like, we are grand opening ready. I hear all of these weird terms. And listen, they're great and everything to hear. But what exactly do they mean? What exactly does it mean when somebody says that? Because I get very confused about stuff. Like, I always love seeing signage on billboards as I'm driving down the road where it says, we are Orlando's #1 dentist. Orlando's #1 dentist. So does that mean that we are ranked #1 for being a dentist in Orlando? Or are we the #1 listed on a listing? Because it doesn't explain a lot. It doesn't really give me the information. It gives me some generic terms that I'm supposed to understand what exactly you're saying. If you're providing world-class service, if you're best in class, if you're giving me world-class safety, if you're giving me the best in the league, whatever the hell terminology you want to do. Matter of fact, if you're telling me you're the best in the world, what exactly does that mean? What does exactly all that information mean? Because how did you make that determination? How is it determined that you're best in class? What class are we talking about? Because here's kind of something that I'll tell you, where I kind of think that it's kind of funny on how you word stuff. Many, many, many years ago when I was in high school, I went to a private high school. Not a problem. Matter of fact, I went to a private school because it wasn't a private high school because it was kind of a blended school. They taught kindergarten through 12th grade. I will tell you, the year before I graduated, the graduating class, this is no joke as I say this, had one senior. One senior. The next year, when I graduated, there was 9 seniors that were graduating that year. So, in thinking about marketing, because that's how you had to think about it, I remember telling people on my college applications that I graduated within the top 10 of my school, which was no lie whatsoever. And I gave it that one person room for error just in case. But do you understand on how marketing and wording plays a key factor in what people do and what people say? And I'm not trying to sit here to brag that I was in the top 10, especially when there was only 9 people. But I look at it and I go, what exactly is this wording that organizations use when they're talking about programs that are going on inside of their companies? Because I don't understand it. When you tell me that safety is our #1 priority, what exactly does that mean? It's our #1 priority after we have generated enough revenue to make a focus point on it? Is it, what other factors play a key there before you say that it's your #1 priority? Now, listen, I'm not trying to get into the word lingo here, but I also want people to think about some of this stuff. We get so hung up sometimes in regards of what people are trying to come across by saying, but it really means absolutely nothing. Because when you hear world-class safety, What does that mean? Here's the question that I would ask you. If somebody told you that we have world-class safety based on standard ISO 45003, then I almost know what you're talking about. Even if you told me based on ISO 45001, even if you gave me an ANSI standard, I could almost understand what you're talking about. But if you tell me that you're best in class, it becomes very confusing. Now, I did throw out the term best in the world earlier, BITW. And this is not a joke as I say this. I used to have a sign in an office that I worked in, pretty big sign. And it was a giant sticker of a wrestler that I really like, of a logo that he uses, that he calls himself the best in the world. And I had that on a wall. And I used to tell people to come to my office for they could see the best in the world. And I remember the people's face and their shock when I would say that, because they had truly no understanding on what I meant, because the belief was that I was telling you that I was the best in the world, which that's not what I was saying. The whole point was how important words are. So the next time you hear somebody tell you that they're best in class, that they're best at this, maybe, and just maybe, question them on what exactly does that mean.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author Jay Allen, PhD. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Rated R Safety Show.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Oh no, did I tell you way too much? One touch, and my cheeks they start to flush. Don't stop, 'cause I wanna ride the rush. Whoa, 'cause I get
Okay, here we go. Currently 46 minutes past the top of the hour. You right here are taking a listen to Luco, and this is Breathe.
but I can't breathe.
So this song is readily available on Pandora, YouTube Music, Spotify, and Apple Music. If you're so inclined to take a little listen, I would say go ahead and give it a little streamer-eamer action, because it's always a good time when you and I get to hang out and take a listen to some new music together. We would like to thank Luco for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. A lot of fun stuff as we are going down the multiverse of things, no doubt about that. Because I can definitely hear you breathe. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of what we do around here. So let me tell you about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. Some things to help out and preserve, that is for sure. Once you get there, you'll see all kinds of information. Just make sure to go to the far right-hand side. That is where the Find Help button is located. Just FYI right there. So TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. So let's continue talking about some other things inside of the world. So let's talk about this for a moment, because I want to do this. I am going to tell you, over the last couple of days, I have decided to change some of the information that's related to this event that we're doing on July the 13th. And I have noticed that some things in the world are changing in regards of, travel and all this kind of stuff. So what we have determined to do is that we have changed the price point on exactly going into our reality shifts observational symposium that's taking place on July the 13th. So if you want to go ahead and take a look at that, that's taking place July the 13th. We have this new thing that we've done with it. So if you go to safetyfm.io or scan the little QR code that's on the screen, you'll see the new information that's listed on there. And don't worry, we took care of the people that had purchased tickets previously, so don't worry about that portion. So here's what's going to be going on. We're going to be talking about behavior-based safety. We're going to be talking about human and organizational performance, and we'll be talking about signal. All you have to do is scan the QR code or go to safetyfm.io to find out more information. People hanging out that particular day from the speaker aspect will be Nick Weatherly, Todd Conklin, and yours truly talking about all kinds of different stuff. We'll be talking about behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, and we'll be talking about signal. Also, some people might confuse that a little bit with simulation theory, but we'll talk about some of that stuff on the day of the event. It's happening on Monday, July the 13th, 2026. And listen, as we are doing it and talking about this stuff, we're going to make sure that we focus on what we're doing because we're hanging out in a movie theater, so it's much different than anything else that we've done before. And the fun part is that we'll take a little viewer there of a little documentary. So it'll be some fun times as we get to hang out and do all kinds of stuff. So no doubt about that. So that will be taking place July the 13th in Orlando. All you have to do is scan the little QR code on the screen or go to safetyfm.io. So there you go. There you go. There you go. So, with that being said, I do have some John Small waiting in the wing where he would love to talk to you about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute. So, let's do that right now.
The Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Danielle. Maya Angelou said, "Try to be a rainbow in someone's cloud." I love that. I've heard this one before, and I loved it then, too. I try to do this as often as I can. Sometimes it can be hard. If somebody's going through a rough spot, it can be difficult to maneuver this one. I want to be there to cheer them up, but I don't want to cross the line and make it actually even worse for them. I have a friend who's been going through some ups and downs in business. She knew that she would need to move for like over a year. The new owner bought the building, and they were going to have to move. Things were good for a bit. Then it looked like she might be closing instead of moving. Well, then a new location became available. Things looked good. Well, then the city made her change some things. It slowed her down. Following her videos on social media has been a roller coaster. I stopped in recently to make sure she was okay. She said she's good.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Authorities filed murder charges Saturday against the roommate of two missing doctoral students from the University of South Florida.
The pair, a Bangladeshi man and his girlfriend, vanished nearly a week ago, sparking a wide search. Prosecutors say evidence links the roommate to their disappearance. Police continue hunting for clues in the growing case. Kyle Norris reporting.
The Justice Department announced Friday it will allow firing squads as a new method for federal executions to speed up capital cases.
This change supports the Trump administration's push to ramp up punishments for serious crimes. Officials say it addresses delays in other execution methods like lethal injection. Legal challenges are expected from opponents of expanded death penalty use. Lawrence Keller reporting.
A suspected gunman was identified and arrested Saturday after a shooting incident disrupted the White House Correspondents Dinner attended by top U.S. leaders.
The 31-year-old Californian man allegedly rushed toward the venue, prompting swift evacuation of President Trump and others from the stage. Authorities secured the area quickly and took the suspect into custody without further injuries. Investigations probe possible motives as charges mount against him. Chris Anderson reporting.
ICE rearrested an Egyptian family on Saturday, just days after their earlier release amid immigration enforcement shifts.
The action follows a nearly 12% drop in arrests linked to recent high-profile killings and policy changes. Officials cite national security reasons for the renewed detention. The family now faces deportation proceedings as debates over enforcement intensify. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu ordered the army on Saturday to launch vigorous attacks against Hezbollah targets across southern Lebanon.
The directive follows reports of renewed clashes along the volatile border region. Military officials say the operations aim to neutralize threats from the militant group. Casualties and damage details remain unclear as fighting continues. Gary Beck reporting.
In a sharp policy shift on Saturday, President Trump canceled a U.S. delegation's trip to Pakistan for talks with Iran aimed at easing tensions.
The move came after Iran made new offers just minutes earlier, according to Trump, who cited unspecified concerns over the negotiations. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were set to meet Iranian counterparts in Islamabad. Officials say the cancellation highlights ongoing strains in US-Iran relations amid the broader conflict. Benjamin Wright reporting.
State lawmakers ramped up Capitol security measures across the U.S. on Saturday following recent political violence and assassinations.
Locked doors, extra funding, and heightened protections became the new standard after the Minnesota killing shook officials. Many legislatures now prioritize safety for elected members amid rising threats. The White House requested $58 million more for guarding lawmakers and judges nationwide. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Join us on all major social media platforms at We Are Radio Big.
Okay, We Are Radio Big. Oh, that's kind of what's going on there. Okay, so let's start talking about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1932, yellow fever vaccine for humans is announced. That's exciting. Also, let's see. In 1971, Samuel Lee Gravel Jr. becomes the first black admiral in the U.S. Navy. In 1988, Aloha Airlines Boeing 737 roof tears off in the flight and kills a stewardess. Also in 1990, Guns N' Roses' Axl Rose marries Erin Neville, annulled same year, just so you know. And then in 1994, Lisa Presley separates from Danny Q-off. So there you go. That happened all back on the dates that I was referencing. If you want to know about celebrity birthdays that are going on today, let's talk about some of those. Anne Margaret turns 85. Jay Leno turns 76. Mary McDowell turns 73. John Daly turns 60 today. George Garcia, 53. Penelope Cruz, 52. Drew and Jonathan Scott, 48. Jessica Alba, she turns 45 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays that are going on. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot's $163 million. Here's last night winning Powerball numbers for $130 million. It was 18, 31, 33, 36, 62. And the Powerball was 3. Power Play was 3 as well. Also, Microsoft Outlook users across the U.S. started experiencing widespread outages early yesterday morning, with reports beginning around 4 a.m. Eastern Time. According to Dow Detector, the disruption continued through the day, peaking between 10 and 11 a.m., when more than 1,400 users reported issues accessing their email. By 12:45 Eastern, over 1,350 outages reported were still coming in. Microsoft acknowledged the problem around 6:20 a.m. Eastern Time on its official X account, saying that it was investigating intermittent issues preventing users from accessing Outlook. So there you go. In some other news, King Charles III and Queen Camilla arrived in the United States yesterday, kicking off the first state visit by British monarch since 2007. The 4-day trip is being billed as part of the America's 250th anniversary celebration and marks the King's first U.S. visit since his 2022 coronation. The royal couple will spend significant time in Washington, D.C., including a formal state dinner at the White House and address to a joint session of Congress. Their itinerary also includes a stop at the 9/11 Memorial in New York City and sightseeing through the Appalachian region, according to the earlier reporting. Also, in some other news, United Airlines officially dropped its merger pursuit after American Airlines refused to engage. United Airlines said that yesterday has ended its attempt to merge with American Airlines after American declined to discuss the idea following the United initial's outreach. CEO Scott Kirby said that he had hoped it would the proposal, but American instead publicly closed the door. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. Thanks for hanging out with me on this lovely day. So there you go. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If not, you can hang out right here with Sheldon Primus on Safety FM as he talks about the world of safety consulting. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
I can't